Hello, Theodore Shoebat here, giving you guys another message that you will not hear at church. I guarantee that. There are some very, very powerful people within the German government who want to force the anti-Islam movement Pegida under government surveillance. They want to force Pegida to be surveilled, to be monitored by the state. According to the report here, it says the German Social Democrats have proposed the country's domestic intelligence agency monitor two of the country's most vocal far-right organizations, the AfD Party and Pegida. And these people, the German Social Democrats, they have called Pegida brown demagogues, basically calling them Nazis or comparing them to Nazis. And it says here that the Social Democratic Party, led by Vice Chancellor and Economy Minister Sigmar Gabriel, said Alternative for Germany, which is another anti-Islam organization or conservative organization, or Pegida have to be monitored by the National Domestic Intelligence Agency, the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution. In a memo cited by Spiegel, the Social Democratic Party warns of dangerous extreme right trends within the AfD party and groups such as Pegida. Pegida, whose popularity has skyrocketed during the refugee crisis in Germany, were referred to by the Social Democrats as brown demagogues who play on people's troubles and fear and stir up hate. In 2015, the German Interior Ministry registered 1.1 million asylum seekers, etc. They wanted the welfare. They came into Germany. Of course, the German government made a deal with Turkey to absorb these so-called refugees, who are nothing but invaders, heretical invaders. But to be honest with you, this is what happens when you adopt modernism. Germany is a nation that has adopted, well, for one, it has rejected Christianity. It has been rejecting Christianity ever since Martin Luther, and when they trumped Martin Luther and um, became a Reformation nation, they broke away from the fold of Christendom. And ever since then, they've been having these sorts of problems. Ever since then, the German government has been pro-Islam. This is a reality that many of us do not wish to confront. We are terrified to confront this reality because of sectarian issues, because of sectarian, well, the term I'm looking for does not come to my mind for some reason. My English is going down. I keep saying that, but it is going down. I should be more articulate. Oh yes, sectarian bias. This is the reason why we do not wish to confront this reality when it comes to Germany. Germany has a very long history, a very, very long history of becoming an enemy of Christendom. Germany was once upon a time a pagan country, and it's not like other pagan countries that they were pagan at one point in time and then they became Christian. No, Germany was pagan and then it became Aryan. Not Aryan by Aryan I don't mean the race. By Aryan I mean the heretical sect. The heretical sect that came into development in the 4th century and rejected the divinity of Jesus Christ. So there was a German monk by the name of Wolf. That was his name, Wolf, and he surely was a wolf in the 4th century. And he traveled to Germany and he made the first German Bible. And a lot of you guys don't know this history. Again, you're not going to hear this history in church, but he made the first German Bible. And Wolf, or his name actually was his name was in German literally meant little wolf. This little wolf, he went to Germany and he converted many Goths, many of the German people into Arianism. And so the Germans already had a hatred for the Roman Empire, the Christian Roman Empire. But now they had the theological underpinning or the theological ideology that would further validate their animosity toward the Roman Empire, the Christian Roman Empire. And so the adoption of Arianism only further intensified their sense of superiority above the Romans. And so they went to North Africa. They invaded North Africa. They said, "Are you going to convert to Arianism? No, you die." And they began to kill anyone who did not convert to Arianism, much like what the Muslims do. And they invaded Spain. They persecuted the Christians there. They went into central Italy. They persecuted the Christians there, and they just wreaked havoc everywhere. They went into Rome. They sacked the Vatican. They were very anti-Catholic. The Catholics eventually won the battle. It's called the Vendelic Wars. And after the Christians defeated the Arian heretics, the Germans would eventually enter the fold of Christendom. But you can imagine these Germans being forced into the fold of Christendom. You could imagine them still harboring this hatred for Rome, still harboring this hatred for Christendom. Nobody just leaves hatred. When you defeat a nation in war, they harbor hatred, and that hatred remains either forever on account of, or either it never leaves on account of internal hatred that the people still keep, while masquerading it with a sense of peace, or a guise of forgiveness, or a guise of forgetfulness, or a guise of modernity, or they truly accept Christianity and they forgive and forget, to use a simple cliche. But that rarely ever happens. And so the Germans, I believe, still kept that hatred. Now, there were some great saints that came from Germany, but nonetheless, I believe that that hatred was still in the consciousness of the German people. And then you have the pre-Reformation, and you have people from Germany going to England. You have and teaching Gnosticism. You have Germans adopting Gnosticism, and that was taking place, I believe, in the I want to say 14th century or so, maybe even earlier than that. And then the German inundation of Gnosticism into England would lead to the development of the English heretical sect called the Lombards. And these were indeed Gnostic heretics who believed that Satan was really the good guy, Michael the Archangel was really the bad guy. Um, a lot of people don't know this, but the Lombard sect that a lot of people talk about and praise was really developed by German heretics who traveled to England. The name of the German who brought in Gnostic heresy or Gnostic theology into England, I believe his name was Gerhard. Um, Last names weren't really frequently used as much as they are today in those times. So people had first name and they had of something. But his name was Gerhard, and he got on a ship with his followers, went into England, and began to preach Gnosticism. And that developed into the Lombards. The Lombards would eventually inspire the German Reformation, would further inspire the German Reformation. Hilaire Belloc makes a very good point, saying that Martin Luther did not really start the Reformation. The Reformation was already there. The gasoline was there. He simply just threw the match. To use a description or an illustration used by Hilaire Belloc, the ducks were hungry. Their mouths were open, and Luther was simply feeding them the bread that they wanted. So the people in Germany already wanted the Reformation. And this goes along in accordance to what I've been saying, that the hatred was there. And so you have the Reformation, and then you have the 30 Years' War, one of the bloodiest wars in history. You have, I mean, millions and millions of people die. There's a war between Germany and the Catholic nations. The Catholic nations eventually win, the Germans lose. You have World War One. Again, Germany wants to dominate Christendom. And you have World War II. Again, Germany wants to dominate Christendom. So Germany has a very long history of rebelling against Christendom, wanting to destroy Christendom, and wanting to destroy Christendom in the advancement of an evil religion. In the case of the fourth, or in the case of the 5th century or 6th century, it was in the Vendelic Wars. It was the Germans wanting to destroy Christendom for the advancement of Arian theology, or the Arian heresy. And then in the 30 Years' War, you have the Germans wanting to destroy Christendom for the advancement of anti-Catholic theology or Lutheranism. Um, and even before the 30 Years' War, you had instances where the Germans and the Protestants were helping the Muslims destroy Christendom. You had the Germans tell Christendom, no, we're not going to defend Belgrade. We're going to allow Serbia to be invaded by the Turks. You had the English Protestants giving material support to the Ottomans. You had French Calvinists giving weapons to the Muslims, to the Turks, to help fight against the Catholics. So you had all of these instances where Protestants, especially Germans, were helping the Ottomans. And then you have World War One, where the Germans were working with the Ottomans in fighting the English and really wanting to invade and to dominate Europe. And in World War II, you had the Nazis working with the Muslim Chechens and the Muslim Bosnians, and they were slaughtering Christians and Jews. And so you had that instance, and that was a very significant instance. Now you have the German government working with Turkey in absorbing all these Muslim refugees. And these Muslim refugees are causing tremendous amounts of problems. And you have immense amounts of rape, immense amounts of violence being done by Muslims in Germany. And now you have a German uprising where you have German patriots saying we don't want this in our country. And that's Pegida. But you have the German government now saying, no, we are going to put you under surveillance. So what does this tell you about Germany? Does this tell us that Germany, I mean, looking at Germany's history, it's very difficult to just say, well, or it's very difficult to just conclude, well, Germany is a modern country and they're a very advanced country, so let's just forgive and forget. Looking at Germany's history, I mean, we're talking centuries here, centuries of rebellion, centuries of working with the enemy. Looking at Germany's history and looking at Germany today in the context of that history, do we really believe that Germany is a friend? I don't think so. And I think as the years go by, we're going to be seeing the German government make it, with very evil actions, make it more and more conspicuous that it is not a friend, that it is truly an enemy. I don't think Germany is going to be a friend. If it is a friend in the future, then God bless them, and that's great. But like I said, if we're going to make intelligent predictions as to what is going to happen, as to what is going to unfold in Europe, we have to look at the history of nations before we make predictions about them. And looking at the history of Germany, it has a very, very bad record of making alliances with the enemy and going against Christendom and being a rebellious country. So in that context, and in that historical discourse, I don't think it's adequate to make the prediction that Germany is going to be a friend. It's much more adequate to make that educated guess, a guess nonetheless, but still an educated guess, based on the history that Germany is going to be an enemy country. So I'll leave that for you guys for today. This is Theodore Shoebat. Hope you guys have enjoyed this message. Hope you guys have learned something from this message. You just heard some theology. God bless, and God be with us.
Karavani da video da zagli გაუცული სალსაკლდებსა უკვდავების სახეზე და არ გავცული მე ჩემს სამშობლო სხვა ქვეყნის სამოთხეზე და არ გავცული სალსაკლდებსა უკვდავების სახეზე და არ გავცული მე ჩემს სამშობლო სხვა ქვეყნის სამოთხეზე და აღიღებოდა კარავანი და